I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Last week I said that I was having a good old rid out, and here it is. Welcome to my new desk space. This is my new pad where I'm going to be doing all of the videos, where I am doing the videos for your theory videos. So I'm really enjoying this real clean out and new start. I do love the end of an academic year because it's a good time to have a good old rid out and a good old sort out. And it's also a good time to look back and reflect. It's often a time when all of the exam results have come in as well. And, you know, over the decades and decades that I've been teaching, there's only been a handful of times where a student has failed, whether it's theory or practical. And so, although it's disappointing, it's part of life. To err is human. We are all human, of course. These things happen. And so it's a good opportunity to look back and think, well, if I did fail, how can I turn this into positive? It's so disappointing at first, and I do understand. And oftentimes there's a initial reaction to kind of perhaps just get cross or upset, and you want to blame somebody. And so we have to think, well, be careful, don't just lash out and blame your tutor. You might find it helpful to look at a recent vlog I did about tutor and student responsibilities and how I think the labour should be divided. So maybe have a look at that. Don't be too quick to blame your tutor, especially if, let's just say, for example, they've entered lots and lots of people for the same exam. Everybody else has passed, but you failed. And so you just got to think, well, why is that? So it may not necessarily be the tutor's fault. It may not necessarily be the examiner's fault. We've all got our part to play, but we've got to look at where the main responsibility for a bad mark falls. And in my experience, it's often down to a number of factors. It could be all of one, or it could be a combination of events, really. It could just be down to nerves on the day. And that's something that you get used to dealing with. In fact, I've done a vlog on that as well. I'll put the links to these in the description box below and in the cards as well. And so it's just learning to get used to handling nerves. It isn't necessarily a bad thing, but maybe just this time you've not managed it well and it's just got the better of you. And that's one thing that you just have to chalk up to experience. As my gran used to say, it's all in life's rich pattern. Never mind, we'll have another go. It could be that you've just not practiced enough. You're just not prepared. And again, that can be for lots and lots of different reasons. I know that in my experience with my pupils over the years, the few that have failed, oftentimes it was perhaps because as an adult pupil, they've got lots and lots of work responsibilities. I know in one case, they were away on work trips that they just hadn't anticipated, and they weren't even at home to even practice. And so they just said, well, never mind, I'll do my best and we'll see how it goes. And oftentimes, you can just about get away with it. And then sometimes it's like, no, it didn't pull off. And it's like, well, never mind, we had a go. It could also be down to things like you've got your A-levels and you're just prioritising, revising for that, GCSEs and so on. And I think you've just got to look at why it is this has happened. And if it's just down to the plain old fact that you weren't doing your practice and you haven't really listened to your teacher properly and you've not done what you've been asked to do. And sometimes you might be spending many, many hours in preparation, but you're not using that time wisely. And I've given lots and lots of vlogs on how to make the best use of your practice time. It's so easy if you're not careful to just keep doing the same things over and over again, and you just end up repeating your mistakes and you're not taking on board the new things that need to be added into the mix, or you're just kind of doing what you do over and over again, and that isn't what is required. If the music says you need to play it this way, then this is the way you need to practice playing it and so on. And so it could be either you've just not practiced at all. I've done my fair share of that in the past, and then suddenly last minute I've just sort of had a panic and pulled it out of the bag. Shouldn't say that really, should I? In my foolish youth, shall we say. And then if that's the case, well, you've just got to think, oh, silly me, I'll know better for next time. I thought I could get away with it. I haven't. Such is life. However, for whatever reason, only you can know what the real reason is. Your teacher can advise you. They can say, well, it could be this or it could be this, but only you know what goes on at home in those times when you're preparing and practicing. However, for whatever reason, don't let it really knock you so down that you just think, I'm not going to do anymore. That's it. And this is a really, really good opportunity. If you can just kind of get over that first disappointment, it's a superb opportunity to reflect and learn even more thoroughly. You can become so benefited from the experience that it actually really does you good. It could have sort of taught you that, well, I need to spend a bit more time, or I need to be working smarter, not harder. Or, oh, well, I did know that, and on the day my nerves took over and I just didn't do that. So I need to just keep a little bit of presence of mind, and I'll bear that in mind for next time. And remember, the examiners, they are not there to trick you, whether it's practical or theory. The exam situation is not there to catch you out. It's not a trick. It does test you, but it's not there to trip you up on purpose. Look at the feedback comments that the examiner has given. So if it's in a theory exam, you'll see where you've marked really high, and you'll see where you've got real weak spots, and that's where I need to revise. That was a really tricky subject. You could think, I really thought I got that right, and I've got really poor marks in that section. I need to figure out what's going on here. And if it's a practical exam, they'll give you little comments of constructive criticism. So you can just think, oh, right, okay, well, my scales were a bit uneven, or I didn't know this scale, or, well, this piece, they say it was such and such a problem. I will now work on that. And so I just want to say to you, yes, of course, we do these exams because we want to pass. Of course we do, and it is expensive, I know, so, well, we'll have to save up and work and try again. But for whatever reason, don't give up. Do try again. Do treat it as a positive. It's all part of life. These exams, it's not the end of the world. Such is life, really. Kind of shake your feathers a little bit. Have a good look at the comments. Talk to your teacher and think, okay, now I know this was the problem. I need to do this. Please, can we look at this? I'm not sure why, X, Y, Z. And we're so much better for it, and we learn so much more. So, I just wanted to encourage you and just say, these things happen. Shucks, never mind. Gather yourself, figure it out, and have another go. I hope that's encouraging to you. Thanks for listening. Bye.